Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Kelly, and today's video, I am going to share with you some of my favorite neutral palettes. I am definitely a neutral lover. I don't really venture out into the world of color very often. I have started dabbling here and there, but the neutrals are where my heart is. And this video is an exciting one because this is in collaboration with my new friend here on YouTube, Rachel from Thingsbytheberk. So I'm gonna have Rachel's video and channel listed down below. She is definitely a very awesome channel and you really need to check her out if you haven't already. Rachel is about to be a new mommy. She is uber pregnant. She's due in January, I believe, and she is a fellow neutral lover. I did mention Rachel in my video, favorite YouTubers under 10K, but her and I were chatting on Instagram, and we were actually talking about the Juvia's Place holiday release, those two colorful palettes, and she was like, I'm definitely much more of a neutrals girl. And I was like, yes, me too. So we came up with this idea to talk about our favorite neutral eyeshadow palettes together. Now, Rachel does have a more extensive eyeshadow collection than myself, but when I was looking through my collection, I definitely had some staples. But without further ado, let's get into the video. Now, I will probably do some swatches out of these eyeshadow palettes just to show you a few of my favorite shades. I do have more affordable options, I have mid-range options, and I have some luxury. But I do want to tell you my lip combo. People always ask in the comments and I never remember. I am wearing Patrick Ta on the lips. I decided to go neutral with the lips as well. This is his Precision Lip Crayon in She's Humble and the Monochromatic Moment Silky Lip Cream in She's Unapologetic. So these were the two that were recommended to go together on the Sephora website. But why don't we start with the eyeshadow palette that is on my eyes right now. This is a new collection to me, and it is the Colourpop That's Taupe eyeshadow palette. I did recently feature this on my Instagram for my Saturday standouts. Every Saturday I'm trying to shout out a new makeup product, something that really stood out to me that week, and I've been using the That's Taupe palette, and I really love it. I am much more of a warm toned eyeshadow lover, and as you can see here, these eyeshadows are definitely on the cool tone, but for whatever reason when Colourpop released this, it grabbed my attention immediately, and I believe it was like $16. Now, I did search the Colourpop website and I can't find it at the moment. I'm hoping it's just out of stock and not gone completely, but this is definitely an eyeshadow palette that I've been reaching for all week and that I've been wearing at work. Now, I do want to swatch the three shimmer shades in here. Ooh, that last one was kind of messy. So I did swatch Snake Eyes, Cold Blooded, and Constrictor. So those are these three shades right here. I'm not in love with Slated. I think this is a Super Shock formula, and those are just not my favorite to work with. This is what I have on my lids. I forgot the name already. Snake Eyes. Next to that is Cold Blooded. Snake Eyes is more of the rose gold shade, and then you have much more of a taupe shade with Cold Blooded, and then Constrictor is the one that has almost like gold flecks. So it's still a taupe with a little bit of gold flecks in there. But these kinds of shimmers are my kinds of shimmers. I'm not really into glitter. I'm not a huge glitter fan. I'm not a fan of the Super Shock formula, but I do love their shimmer shades. I also think that their mattes blend out beautifully. I do have Python in the crease. I deepened it up with Rock Steady, and then Python is what's on my lower lash line. So I thought it would be fitting to start with this eyeshadow palette since it is the one that's on my eyes. Also, if you did notice the color change, I apologize, but it just got very dark outside, so I wasn't quite expecting that. Next, we'll move on to the eyeshadow palette that is in my project pan for 2020, and it is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Master Palette by Mario. Now, when you look at this palette, you might think, Kelly, that is not a neutral. You have a deep blue, you have an olive gray, and you have much more cooler tones with NYC and Muse. I understand that, but hear me out. If you take Lula or Isabel, they are a little bit on the deeper side, but those are the mattes. And if you pair it with Fifth Avenue or Marina on the lids, you get a very neutral eye look. And I know this because that's what I've been doing and wearing to work. If you're new to my channel, I am a teacher. I actually forgot to introduce myself. I apologize. Let me do that real quick, okay? This is a little bit of a hot mess. Please forgive me. But if you're coming over from Rachel's channel, hi, I'm Kelly, and I'm just a beauty lover. I am a teacher, that is my career, but I love makeup. I'm also a mom. I have an 18-month-old. So if you go and search my channel, you'll see that there was a huge 14-month gap where I wasn't filming videos, and that's because I gave birth and got caught up in being a working mom. Back to the eyeshadow. I have been using Lula and Isabel in my crease and topping it with Fifth Avenue and Marina. Now in my project pan, this is a spoiler alert, I wanted to pan Fifth Avenue and Marina, and I have done both. I will swatch those shades for you as best I can since I do have big dips in them. But Marina is the rose gold shade, and then Fifth Avenue is your champagne shade. So here's Champagne Fifth Avenue. It is a deeper champagne shade, and then here is the rose gold Marina. I love them both. So that is why I qualify this as a neutral palette. I will swatch Hollywood also. That's the shade right here. This one is more of a satin formula, whereas the other two give you more of a shine. If you're looking for something super neutral, you can go in with Hollywood right there. But nonetheless, I love this eyeshadow palette. It was limited edition, so you can't get it anymore, but if you did manage to grab it while it was out, I would say go ahead and pull it out. It is a very beautiful eyeshadow palette. Sticking with Anastasia Beverly Hills, one of my absolute favorite go-to eyeshadow palettes is the ABH Modern Renaissance palette. And when I filmed my what was it, the eyeshadow palette tag? I'll link it right here if you want to check that out. When I filmed that video, I feel like I talked about this palette over and over and over again. This is another one of those where at first glance you're like, that's not neutral, Kelly. But if you take out that back half there, I would say that's pretty neutral. The first four shadows in this palette are super neutral, and they're very good for every day. I do like Bon Fresco paired with Vermeer if you're looking for more of a cooler toned look, but you also have Golden Ochre, Raw Sienna, and Burnt Orange that you can mix with Primavera to get an absolutely gorgeous champagne look. This is a great everyday palette. It's one that I reach for often. Again, I'll swatch Vermeer and Primavera for you. Vermeer is this one right here. I like to use that as an inner corner shade. It's very light. And then underneath that is Primavera, which is a lighter champagne than the Fifth Avenue in the Mario palette. Hopefully you can see that. I would turn on my autofocus, but it's very loud. So that's why I don't really ever have it on, but hopefully you can see those shadows. I really love this palette. It's a staple in my collection and I highly recommend it. It is not a new release. It's been out for a while, but it's a good one. Next up, we have an oldie but a goodie. If you have been watching YouTube for a while, then you're probably familiar with the Too Faced chocolate bar palettes. This is the original chocolate bar. They have the semi-sweet, the bonbons. They came out with a peach palette. There's every kind of chocolate bar palette that you could dream of. I only have the original. This was gifted to me many years ago by my friend Smags, and I love this one. I especially love, I'm gonna try not to blind you, I especially love Marzipan and Creme Brulee. If you have a deeper skin tone, I think Creme Brulee looks absolutely beautiful. I was doing my college roommate's makeup while I was pregnant, I think, so maybe 2 years ago for a concert, and I used Creme Brulee on the lid and it looked absolutely gorgeous on her. So I'm gonna see if I can find a picture and upload it so that you can see what it looks like. But I think you just get a nice variety here. I really like satin eyeshadows. So you have Amaretto here, which is a nice satin shade. Can you see that? A beautiful satin shade. You also have Hot Chocolate, which is another satin shade. Those give you beautiful deep looks. And then, like I said, Creme Brulee and Marzipan. I'll swatch those for you. So here we have Amaretto. Here is Hot Chocolate. These two are very similar, but Amaretto has a little bit more of a cranberry shade. Then you have the Creme Brulee shade, which is stunning. And right here is Marzipan. I really think if you like those one and done eyeshadow looks where it's just one eyeshadow all over the lid, Marzipan and Amaretto are really good for that. An eyeshadow palette that was on my wish list for the longest time. And I waited several years to get it. But it finally is in my collection. This is the Dominique Cosmetics Latte palette. I do want to get the Latte 2 also. So if you have that one, let me know down below if you love it, if you would qualify it as one of your favorite neutral palettes. This is a wonderful go-to everyday eyeshadow palette. You have everything you could need here. I love the top row of mattes. They are very creamy, they're very smooth, they blend out amazing. I love this vanilla cream shade for setting my eyeshadow base. It just gives me like a nice starting point. And then these three shimmers are absolutely gorgeous. Espresso, Macchiato, and Creme Brulee. I'll swatch those for you. But then you do have a couple pops of color. So if you're someone that wants to get a little crazy on the lower lash line, you can go in with Double Shot and Cold Brew. And I feel like those are easy to work into your look as well. So let's swatch Espresso, Macchiato, and Creme Brulee. These three right here. Espresso, Macchiato, Creme Brulee. Espresso, Macchiato, Creme Brulee. You can see those three shades are absolutely gorgeous. I would say Creme Brulee is my favorite. I love putting that all over the lid. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. Now let's go into Cold Brew and Double Shot. You can see they are super pigmented. The blue one is Cold Brew, Double Shot is the purple, and let's put them right here. There's your blue. It almost has like a green undertone. And your purple. Now I did see Kristen Dominique, the owner of Dominique Cosmetics, did a look. It was one of those TikTok looks where you like rub your eye and then flip the palette and it gives you a look. And she used the Double Shot, the purple shade, I think it was Macchiato on the lid, and she mixed those two together and it was absolutely beautiful. So I've actually been meaning to try that out because she blended out Double Shot in the crease, but it wasn't like this deep purple shade. It was much more wearable. But this palette has really become a go-to for me. I absolutely love it. I don't know why it took me so long to get my hands on this palette, but it's a staple in my collection and I highly recommend it. All right, I cleaned off my arm. I'm ready for some more swatches. Let's go with affordable and then we'll end with luxury. I do have some luxury palettes. We can start with these super affordable eyeshadow palettes by e.l.f. I have 4 of them. These e.l.f. quads are $3. $3 for an e.l.f. quad. And they have so many more than just these 4. These are the 4 that I have. So this one is in Pumpkin Pie. And this one has 2 beautiful matte shades. One looks like it's a little bit more orange, one looks like it's a little bit more brown, and then the 2 shimmer shades. I don't think these have names. I don't see names anywhere on here, but I will go ahead and let's just swatch all of them for you. So here we have the lighter shade, then that shimmer shade, the deeper chocolate shade, the deeper bronze shade. So that's these 4 right here. We have 1, 2, 3, and 4. Ooh, I really like this bottom one. I don't think I've used that one yet. I think I just used the lighter one. But I love this formula by e.l.f. I love that it's $3. It's super affordable. You can see it's super pigmented. I never try to judge an eyeshadow palette by its swatches, but it can perform on the eyes very differently. However, these swatch amazing, and I find the mattes are super blendable. The shimmers give you a nice pop of color on the lid, and it lasts all day. So I really like it. This is in the shade Pumpkin Pie. This next one I would say is maybe like the lighter version of Pumpkin Pie. This one is in Cream and Sugar. I don't know if Pumpkin Pie was limited edition since it has much more of a fall theme. I would guess with e.l.f. maybe not, but this is Cream and Sugar. It's like your basic nude. So you have a very, very light shade that for me is much more of like a brow bone shade. I wouldn't really be able to use it in the crease. Then you have this lighter shimmer shade. You have a little bit of a deeper, more copper shimmer shade, and then this very deep chocolate. I have not used the deep chocolate shade. This is probably the palette that I've used the most. So here is that light shade. You can see it's like a bone color. Underneath it is the lighter shimmer. I use that one more so for an inner corner highlight. This is the shimmer that I use all over the lid. And then here is that deeper shade. So this is in the quad, Cream and Sugar. If you like more of a berry toned neutral, I do have two options for you. This one right here is Rose Water. This one is a little bit more cool toned than the others. The other two were very warm toned. Here you have much more of a cool toned shade. This one you only have one matte. I don't know if you can tell just by looking at it here, but this deep shade does have some flecks of glitter. It's not my favorite formula. I don't like when Colourpop does that, but it's definitely something that you can still use. You could put it all over the lid if you're looking for a smoky look. I actually haven't tried that shade. That's these four right here. Let's put them on the inside of my arm. Here is the very first beautiful shimmer shade. I love that one. I like to mix it with this matte shade right here on the lid, and those are super beautiful. This one is a little bit deeper, and then you have that dark shade. I can definitely see the flecks of shimmer in here, like little tiny flecks of shimmer, but I don't think it's too overpowering. So I still think you could use that even to deepen up or to put on the lower lash line. Okay, so my battery died and I didn't know, and I already swatched this one, but here we have the Berry Bad palette. This neutral shade is very good as a transition shade for my skin tone, but you do have a deeper shade here with a more red undertone, and then you have a more red shimmer shade and a more berry shimmer shade. So here is the transition shade in that palette, the more red shimmer, the pinkier shimmer, and then that deeper swatch right here. And again, I'm not the best at swatching, I will be very honest about that, but I feel like these swatched pretty well. They perform amazing on the eyes, the mattes are super blendable, and the shimmers give you a nice sheen, and they don't have chunky glitter. I do not like chunky glitter, so I definitely recommend these quads from e.l.f. They're $3, you can't go wrong. I have 4 more palettes to share with you. We'll go with the affordable and we'll end with the luxury. The more affordable option, I want to say this is in the $30 range. It is the Morphe Jaclyn Hill palette. This was her, it wasn't her first collab because she did like a Morphe Jaclyn Hill favorites, but this is the first palette where she created all of the colors on the inside. Now it does take me a minute to open these up because I'm one of those people that saves all of the plastic, and I have the card with all of the names because the names are not printed on here. Now you may be saying, Kelly, there's color in there, but I feel like if you just take your hand and cover that up, this palette is heavy on the neutrals. I stick more so to the top 2 rows right here. I love all of these brown shades. You have every single undertone included. I love these shimmer shades over here. They're very beautiful. They're very pigmented. There's no chunky glitter. I don't get a ton of fallout, but then you can dabble in color down here. You can create a nice smoky eye over on this side, and you can add some pops of color down on the lower lash line. So I know a lot of people are not huge fans of Morphe right now. I feel like people are kind of over them, and I know we don't really hear too much about Jaclyn Hill, but I still really like this palette. I think it's worth it. I recently did my friend's makeup for her wedding, and this is the palette that I used. I get really good pigmentation. I don't have a ton of fallout, and I'm a big fan of the formula. So this is a favorite for me. Let's start our luxury palettes with this little quad right here by Charlotte Tilbury. This is the Pillow Talk quad, and this is what it looks like right here. This was gifted to me either last year for Christmas or last year for my birthday. I'm into Pillow Talk. I'm wearing the Pillow Talk blush by Charlotte Tilbury. I just love Charlotte. I just love her. I don't know what to say. I think that this little shimmer shade right here is absolutely beautiful. Then I really like these 2 mattes. I think they go well together. I typically put the lighter matte in my crease and the deeper one in the outer corner. What I'm not a huge fan of is this glitter topper right here. This is definitely a topper and doesn't really work well on its own. I don't really get much use out of that. But here's the shimmer shade, beautiful all over the lid. Here is the matte that I put in my transition, the matte that I put in my outer corner, and then that glitter topper shade that you can't even really see. Again, don't judge an eyeshadow palette by swatches, and definitely don't judge them by my swatches because I am by no means the best at swatching. These little quads are expensive. I want to say they're like in the $50 range, but if you can get them on sale during a VIB sale or even a sale on Charlotte's website, I really like the quality, and they're just so cute and compact. So they're really good for travel, although who's traveling these days? Then we will end with some luxury. And I have two palettes here by Natasha Denona. I have videos on both of them, so I will link the videos down below, but I have the bronze palette and the Glam palette. If I had to pick one over the other, I am a huge fan of the Glam palette. I like that one better than the bronze, but I do like the bronze palette as well. The thing that I think, that sounds weird, the thing that I feel about the bronze palette is that when I create a look, I feel like all of my looks look the same. I'm not gonna swatch all of these. I swatched them in my 2 videos, so if you wanna see swatches, please go check those out. But I feel like I create the same look over and over again with this palette. If I had to pick a favorite shade, it would be this one, Palladium, down here. But I feel like the formula of the shimmers in this palette versus the Glam palette are very different. I get more fallout with these shimmers. I think the mattes perform absolutely beautifully, but on my skin tone, these shimmers look the same to me. They swatch differently, but when I put them on my eyes, my look was the same each time. Now again, if you're a huge bronze lover, then this might be right up your alley. You can get a beautiful bronze look. I wanna say this is $65. I don't know if I mentioned that, but I don't have a shade that I can use to set my eyeshadow primer, which is something I like to do. I feel like the lightest shades, Beach and Silk, are still kind of deep on my fair skin tone, but overall, this is a really good eyeshadow palette. But like I said, I do prefer the Natasha Denona Glam over the bronze palette. Now this is much more cool toned, so I didn't expect to love it more, but I do. I feel like the quality of the shimmers is just better. I don't know if it's different. I'm not someone that like researches all of the shades in each palette. I'm just not knowledgeable in that area, but the shimmers to me perform differently. So this one is a staple in my collection. I use it when I'm getting ready for work all the time because I feel like I can get a variety of different looks. I like that you have some rose gold shades. You can definitely stick to silvers if that's your jam, or you can even warm it up with this quad right here. So this is definitely one of the favorite neutral palettes in my collection and one of my favorite overall palettes at this moment in time. Now before we go, I have one last honorable mention. The reason why it's an honorable mention is because it's new to my collection, but I haven't actually used it yet. I haven't swatched it, I haven't put it on my eyes, but just in appearance, it looks like it could be a very good neutral palette, and this is the Too Faced Pumpkin Spice palette. I do know that Rachel has this palette in her collection, so if she did a video on it, I will link it down below. But I recently got this eyeshadow palette, and I just feel like it's a nude lover's dream. I was drawn in by this Falling For You shade, this beautiful green shade, but you do have a beautiful array of nude matte shades right here. You can also get a little bit cooler down here with these 2 mattes. It's more of the shimmers that have some color in them. You have purple shimmers. My Oh My Gourd, which was a pink shimmery shade, broke when I purchased it, but then you do have this nice shadow right here. I think it's supposed to be a gold, but mine has chunks of Oh My Gourd in there. And then you have this whipped cream matte shade if you want to go for an all matte look. I haven't swatched this yet, so let's swatch Fall Vibes, which is the gold. We'll do Falling For You, which is the green that was calling out to me. Want a Piece of Me, which is the lighter purple shade. And then we'll do PSL and Chill. Ooh, that one looks like it has a little bit of like a blue base to it. So here is Fall Vibes, beautiful gold shade, swatches wonderfully. Here is that green shade. Ooh, I cannot wait to wear this. This is like a green with an olive undertone. Love it, love it. Then we have, this was the first purple shade, Want a Piece of Me. And this was the second one, PSL and Chill. I think those swatch amazing. I do want to film a 3-in-1 tutorial on this palette. I just haven't yet. So if you're interested in seeing that, let me know down below. Again, this is more of an honorable mention because I haven't actually used it yet. But to me, it looks like a neutral that I could wear every day. that is going to do it for this video. If you did enjoy this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I hope that you'll subscribe and stay a while, stick around, join the KBella fam. If you have not already checked out Rachel's channel, I'll have her video and her channel listed down below. You will love her. She's amazing. And if you came over from Rachel's channel, thank you so much for stopping by. I hope that you'll consider subscribing before you go. I would love to have you, and that way I can see you in my next one. Bye.